Hi, I'm Jesse Hilbert.
Hi, I'm Charlie Herbert.
And welcome
to Art of Bald
Adventures.
Adventure. This is Season 3, Episode 9, The Bald Rorschach.
Close. The Bald Rorschach. Try it again.
The Bald Rorschach.
Today's arthropod can be found across the United States and up into parts of Canada, Char. And although...
And they are from the United States.
Well, you can find them here in the United States and also in Canada. But you will not find them in the Midwest of the United States, typically. And they have a very distinctive design that kind of reminds me of the Rorschach from Watchmen. That's a superhero for all you non-comic book nerds. Yes.
And do butterflies fly?
Do butterflies fly? Yes. We know this. You're funny. And then, so, kind of looks like those ink blot tests. Also, I think of Watchmen and Rorschach. And then, what do we always say?
You guess what it is.
Oh, you're yawning. Try that again.
Can you guess what it is?
Charlie. Today's episode brings us to the world of the bald-faced hornet.
The bald-faced
Hornet. Now, Charlie, this is a misunderstood and underappreciated species of yellow jacket. That's right. I called it a yellow jacket, which was new information for me, Char. Maybe not for some of our listeners, but definitely for me. But yellow jackets in general are just a species of wasp, I learned. I always thought a yellow jacket was just that typical black and yellow wasp that people are also afraid of for really no reason. But so this research, I learned that wasps, well, I knew this, but wasps belong to the order Hymenoptera. You want to try that one?
Hymenoptera.
I think you really ham it up for the recordings. You know that? You're funny. And they, with their other family members, bees, but it's truly bees who get all the love and wasps who take all the heat, but wasps should be appreciated too, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until researching this episode that I realized that yellow jackets did not refer to a specific species, but a group of wasps. Yeah. But apparently the name is given to predatory social wasps that belong in the genus Vespula. And the genus Dolichovespula. Now, I have found as the podcast continues that I get more and more excited about these little details. Well, we did 19, I think it was 19 episodes in Season 2, and this is Episode 9 in Season 3, so we're at 26 episodes. Nope, that was bad math. 28 episodes total for me and you.
And then what? 29?
Yeah.
What
right. Now, Charlie, I get so excited for these...
Be too tired.
Maybe, I don't know. You'll be older by then. It'll be more fun. Yeah. Now, Charlie, I know I just said this, but I get really excited for these little details now. Like, I'll be able to tell everybody that yellow jackets are not just those yellow and black Hymenoptera members, but they actually are a whole genus of flying things that are predatory social wasps. And we're going to drop a lot of knowledge today. Now, this falsely named hornets, it's not technically a hornet, although we call it a bald-faced hornet, but we just learned it's not a hornet, it's a yellow jacket, right? And its scientific name is
We already did a yellow jacket.
No. We've done an Arctic bumblebee. Yeah. And we did, we did do, brain fart. We did the, the one that ate Orthopteras, the golden digger wasp. You're right. but the scientific name for a bald-faced hornet is Dolichovespula maculata. Okay? We learned before that the genus Dolichovespula comes from the Greek word meaning long, and this actually refers to their face, which apparently are long. Long faces are not something I typically associate with members of the order Hymenoptera until now. And its species, maculata, comes from the Latin word for spotted or blotchy. Now, this totally goes back to my thought about the Rorschach, right? You know, I did not show you a picture of that. I'm going to have to show you a picture of that. It was just an alarm. Yeah, it was just something. So, that's why I get this blotchy Rorschach. It totally makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. And if you had to guess who first described this species, Charlie, again, let's give our listeners a moment. Who is like the father of every arthropod described? Mr. Our old buddy, Carl Linnaeus. I hope you guessed Carl Linnaeus because you would be correct. And even more, if you had said he described it in his 1763 Centuria Insectorum, then ding, 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 you're right again.
Who's ding, ding, ding?
Right there. And at some point, we're going to have to do a whole episode on Carl Linnaeus because he just keeps popping up.
Yeah.
We're taking a brief break from the show to share some excitingness. I know it's not a real word, but excitingness about a brand that we are working with called Dead Bird EcoWear. And it's more than just a clothing brand. Dead Bird EcoWear is a movement committed to restoring the earth. And as a proud veteran-owned business, they dedicate a portion of every purchase to global tree planting initiatives. Wear the change you want to be and wear the change you want to see, and make a positive impact with every outfit. Plus, listeners of Arthropod Adventures can use the code in all caps arthropod_adventures_podcast for 25% off their purchase. So join us in supporting sustainability and our veterans. Shop Dead Bird EcoWear. Now, its common name, the bald-faced hornet, comes from the pattern found on their bodies and on their head. The white markings are the quote-unquote bald parts, very much like the bald eagle's not really bald, just has white feathers. And the rest of their body is black in color. And not only part of their body, the only part of their body not adorned in black and white are their wings and eyes, which are brown. But the rest of it's that kind of blotchy black and white colors, Char. Yeah. And they are pretty large. Now, I don't know if you remember this, Charlie. We saw one of these on the fence outside of our house. They're pretty big. They're almost an inch long.
We saw them in summer.
Yes, we see them in summer all the time. Do you know that giant hive across the street that we saw that somebody killed? That was up on the building? With a huge nest the size of like a basketball? Yeah, that was a bald-faced hornet hive. We're going to get to the hive in a minute. Now, the queens are obviously large, and the workers are slightly smaller. And if you want to be able to tell the difference between a male and a female, then there are a few places to look. Okay, Char? Although they do require you to get up close, which is possible. The antennas would be one of those spots to look. The males have one more segment on their antennas than the females. And with the males having, Charlie, what number is this? The 1 and the 3? 13. So the males have 13 segments. Well, that's the underneath one. The females have 12, and the males have 13 segments on the antennas. Now, we can also look at the back of their abdomen for some clues too, Char.
4, 7.
Oh, not yet. We'll get to that part. Okay, we'll get to that part. Okay. So both abdomens are mostly black in color, but they do have a few white markings. The males have their white markings on segments
There's
4 through 7, right? But the females have them on 4 through 6. So the male markings go one segment farther because their bodies are one segment longer. Now, we mentioned before that these are social wasps, and the queen is the only member of the hive who reproduces. It's the queen's job to create the babies and the workers, and to create the workers, and then the worker's job to take care of them once the hive has been established. They will also hunt and protect the hive. Now, Charlie, it does get a little sad here, okay? Towards the end of summer and into fall, the queen knows that the time has come, and she'll make both males and fertile queens, and they'll raise, and then they'll leave, and they will go and mate outside, and then the males will die because they're only good for mating, and the females will take his genetic materials and they will store it in her body over winter, and she'll find somewhere safe to kind of hide. And then once spring arrives, you know what she's gonna do? What do you think she's gonna do? She's alive. She's gonna crawl back out of where she was. She'll start creating her own nest, and then she'll lay her eggs. And now initially, Char, it's totally up to this new queen in the spring to go out and get food and raise the babies and do everything else that eventually the workers will have to do, until these initial set of eggs have gone into their larval stage and pupated. Always our favorite word, right? Pupate. Pupate. Yes. And then these will become her first group of workers, and it will be their job to build the nest and take care of the young. This is the bald-faced hornet's circle of life. Oh, that's right. I know you like that one. You like that from The Lion King? Yeah. And with each hive giving rise to the next generation, so they kind of just give and take, give and take. Now, the nest point is where I get frustrated. Can you make a frustrated face? Right? Because most people call this beautiful piece of art. That's what I call their hive. It's beautiful, right? Most people think this is the nest of a paper wasp. And I get it. I get the confusion. You would think an animal called a paper wasp would create a giant hive encased in paper. But this is not the case. The nest that people see the most are probably the nest hive of our bald-faced hornet, which again, not a hornet. And they can grow quite large. Try that one we saw across, I mentioned before, was bigger than a basketball. This is why I get upset when I see people damage them, because these animals take their sweet, precious, short lives to create such beautiful things.
Yeah, and then they died.
And
there was one on the thing that they killed again.
Well, yes. So some people do like to kill them because they think that they are super aggressive, and they're feared because of their, pretty big, but they're not really aggressive. And the truth is, anyone would be aggressive if they're threatened, right? If I swat at you, you're going to get angry. If I get near your house, you might get angry. That's what happens with these creatures. I can't blame them if they sting somebody, or even if they stung us. Like, I couldn't get mad because we invaded their territory, So, went away. Never got stung. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Because I always don't like.
Yeah, because you're good around any of the flying things that could sting. You just kind of hold your ground, stay still, right?
Yeah, but if you go there,
yeah. So now, when they're away from their hives, they're pretty gentle creatures, and they allow us to get pretty close. And I've even seen some people handle them. I don't know if I'm particularly brave enough.
Not me.
But sometimes I've been known to hold a bee or two, maybe a wasp or two.
I'm not doing that.
Now, Charlie, they don't like to use their stingers for anything other than protection, because they're omnivores, believe it or not, and can be found pollinating flowers. That's right, Charlie. Wasps pollinate. And they're collecting garden pests for food to feed their babies. Now, these are not cold-blooded murderers. They're important animals to our ecosystem, right? I know many people fear wasps, but Charlie, we strongly urge everyone to reconsider, right? Should we be afraid of these things? No. Should we respect them? Should we respect them? Yeah, and then they'll respect us. See, they're not only pollinators and pest removers, but families trying to protect themselves and pass on their genes. And who can blame them for that? So the next time you see those black and white markings flying through the sky, try not to fear, but instead to respect this yellow jacket. And if you stay away from her hive, chances are that she will stay away from you.